Hi, I'm Bridgette L. Cooper for U.S. Congress, representing the great state of Maryland, District 8, and we are here at the March for Our Lives rally. We have Holly here, and Holly, tell us why you're here today specifically.
I think it's just awesome to see everybody here, first of all. It's just like a moment in history that we're going to see. And another big thing is just like morally as a human being, there comes a point, like so many mass shootings have happened in just the year 2018. And I just think as a person, like doing nothing isn't enough, and we don't even know if gun control will actually make a change, but it's better than sitting around and doing nothing.
Do you think that there's enough legislation in place already? Because one of the arguments is, especially with supporters of the NRA, we have enough laws in place, and of course Second Amendment rights to protect that. But how do you feel about the laws that are already in place? Do you think that they need to be more changes?
Yeah, I agree. I think there should be more changes. Again, we're not trying to take away your guns. I think it's just I think a big thing is gun shows for me, to be honest. I don't feel comfortable that an 18-year-old can't buy cigarettes, can't buy a lottery ticket, but can go to a gun show and buy a gun. I think that's ridiculous.
What do you think about the responsibility of a gun? I've had a lot of people on my Facebook page who support, of course, the NRA. They support the gun laws that are already in place. They don't feel like we need any more.
Yeah, background checks is a big thing for me too, just because you don't know what's going through people's lives, and I think they need to be more thorough with who they're giving guns to, and they need to be more responsible with who they're giving guns to. And also, I get the right to defend yourself. I totally get that. I think you should be able to defend yourself, but there comes a point when just having a gun to have it, just for looks, or I don't know, to be cool, just to have the gun, that personally doesn't make sense to me if it's putting somebody else's life at risk.
What do you think about the difference between an assault weapon on the streets and then also just a regular handgun? Because sometimes people use handguns.
So I think because my dad hunts, he doesn't have a gun in the house, but anybody who really knows anything remotely about hunting is, if you have an AR-15, like an assault rifle gun, you're going to destroy the animal you're killing. So I think a big thing is just
common sense.
An AR-15 is made to kill, and I think having that in the house isn't necessary. I don't think it's necessary at all, but
I'm Lexi.
I'm Elsa.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
I'm Hamza.
And I'm Zoe.
Why are you here today?
Well, with all of this going on, I think it's so important that us as students share our voices, because for the longest time it's always been both sides. They completely forget about the ethics of this and the morals and the human aspects, and I think that it's just so important that we show our leaders that we do have a voice.
Excellent. What do you think about the gun laws that are already in place, and what do you think needs to be done to make them better?
I know gun laws are different in every state. I think for Maryland, we have pretty strict gun laws, but I think our government needs to have a restriction. We need more, because clearly what we have now is not working, and it hasn't been working for the past 20 years.
It shouldn't be like this.
Yeah, it really should.
That probably wasn't too mentally stable should have been able to get a gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
19-year-old, but it just wasn't right. I think that if there were better rules and regulations, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Mental health tests, because in Japan they have mental health tests.
But I feel like the kind of mental health side of the background checks are kind of disregarded. So I feel like that would be more important to look more into.
Well, with what Lexi said, people have to remember that last year our president signed a bill saying that you don't have to check for mental illnesses when purchasing a gun, and because of that, I think that it's allowed more and more people to really get a hold of guns, and people just completely forget.
For school shootings, it's become very evident, and I think that's
we shouldn't have this many kids dying for us to realize that we shouldn't have guns on our hands 24/7.
And like you were saying, people the kids needed them, but I feel like we're living in a society where we're kind of advanced. We're not at the point where people need to protect themselves. We have a police force. we have like national security, we should like step that up instead of trying to like put it on the citizens.
Principles
We
about, what we want to do is
well, our county was one of the counties that said that if we participated in the walkout, there could have been consequences. There were no consequences for our school, but we did have a huge discussion about like what we can do for school safety, and you know, some of the ideas were having more lockdowns, having more cameras. You know, in Indiana, I think it is. It's the safest school, and yeah, it's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it for saving people's lives.
I believe we shouldn't be handing a teacher a gun, personally, especially at the fact that they have so much to deal with, and a salary of $40,000, and you're gonna hand them an AR-15 and say, all right, here's a couple hundred kids, and you're in charge.
And you said like everyone has a different breaking point. If like teachers are people too, if they experience that breaking point and they own a gun during that breaking point period,
exactly,
then
And
things are just
and also and with teachers getting guns, I heard that if you do choose to accept a gun, you will be getting paid more than a teacher who chooses not to accept a gun. So basically, if you're a teacher who chooses not to have a gun and you're working hard to like get these students to learn, and you're not getting paid as much as someone who may not be working as hard but has a gun.
Yeah.
What do you think about, you know, some of the schools that I taught in, they had actual plainclothes officers through the school system that were stationed on every hall. Kids pretty much knew who they were, but they would just walk the halls making sure everything is okay. I know a lot of schools do not have that, and maybe they thought they were not at that point, but now it looks like we are. What do you guys think about that?
Well, at first it could be pretty intimidating because it's like new, because it's like out of the norm. But I think that it can definitely like help prevent people, because like if a kid's making a trip to a locker to like go get a gun, I think the cop, you know, like could keep an eye on. I don't know. It's like,
No, I get it.
there's
I
more
understand.
supervision.
But
Go ahead.
personally, I feel like we have like an SRO at our school, and the shooting that just happened, it was like a student resource officer that stopped the shooter.
Yeah.
But I feel like there should be better outreach to the students, and we don't need like people with guns to stop people with guns to stop people with guns. But the kid in Florida who committed the like school shooting, he was an orphan, and he was just expelled, and he had really bad behavior and bad grades. And I feel like when you look at that from like a resource standpoint, like you're looking at everything, you can tell that like they're a student at risk for like bad activity. You should do more, not just expel them.
Yeah, I agree. And offer the support that we need, especially for kids who are, I mean, at any point you go through things in life, and one of my things is definitely finding out what our guidance counselors are doing, not doing, able to do, how much they're able to intervene. Some of the best programs that I've seen in school systems are the guidance counselors that are hands-on. They're going in the classrooms, talking to the kids know where to go, and they've made it clear that their job as a guidance counselor is to guide and to empower the students to understand when they need to get help, when they need to just talk things out, and erasing the stigma of doing that.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I definitely think we're struggling with coexistence.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be teachers versus kids, government versus citizens. We need to come together, and it's time to start uniting. And
I agree.
It's all about the personal relationships.
Yeah.
And
you go ahead.
I think it is important for the guidance counselor like body, because a lot of like people, like these school shooters, they don't have the relationships in their life usually.
Yeah.
They don't have like someone to talk to, and that's like what builds up, and then that's why they, you know, take it out in violence.
Yeah.
So I think that like really like building up the counseling can really help like to resolve.
I had a conversation with a few of my counselors after the walkout, and they were saying that I told them that I thought it was very important for the counselors to kind of build those relationships up with those kids so that they know like what they're going through and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more of like a more natural thing if you're having a struggle that you can go to the counseling office, and it's not seen as like kind of like a weird.
But I want to say thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
All made some
Seriously.
really great points and valid points, and I'm very proud of all of you for being out here
Thank
and
you.
understanding the deeper issue, which is not really, one side against the side, another side, but what you said about just coexisting. Patrick, why are you here today?
Because I grew up in Baltimore, and twice I've had a gun put in my face when I was doing nothing but walking down the street.
Do you feel like there's enough gun legislation in place?
I do not.
You do not. What do you think needs to happen to make things better? And especially since we know that, we're not going to get rid of the Second Amendment rights of people. So what do you think?
Well, I don't have any problem with people that want to have a hunting rifle, but automatic weapons, handguns, that's not about sport, that's only about death.
Yeah, as far as common sense legislation that will build on what we have and make it better. What do you think as far as common sense legislation?
Well, I'm not sure we're going to even get close to that right now, but perhaps when you get elected we will.
I hope so. Thank you. APA, and I'm going to have her explain more about the community resources that are here in District 8 for not only our students but adults as well. And I want to remind everyone that the views that our guests are sharing are strictly their own views. They do not support me specifically or anyone else. They are here representing their own organization, and my job for my constituents is to get the information to you. So tell us your name.
Okay, I'm Julia Silva, and I'm a psychologist, and I work on violence prevention. So the work that I do is to help prevent child maltreatment, child abuse, and the involvement of youth and kids with the violence. We know that violence is contagious. You learn from each other. You learn to be violent. You learn how to use certain means to be used as a violent tool in your life. So we wanted to help parents and families to start early with their children, teaching them and being role models so they will not be involved with violence later on in their lives. So that's the cause that I work for, and I created a program called Act Raising Safe Kids for parents of young children to help them to learn how to raise kids without violence and modeling positive ways to deal with emotions. We all can get, distressed or mad or frustrated or tired, but we should not use violence to resolve the emotions or the conflicts that we have. So my job is to help people understand that yes, you can have emotions, but you should not use violent means to resolve your conflicts. There are positive ways to do that. So if you'd like to learn more about what I do, go to www.actraisingsafekids.org. Thank you.
What would you like to see done as far as school support and working together with your organization to maybe offset that pressure that a lot of schools feel that they don't have enough resources?
Well, many organizations and individuals are, unified about helping children and families to deal with their conflicts and emotions in a positive way. So what would be very good for the schools was to have more mental health professionals there to help children to go through their issues, their conflicts, their desperations, depressions, and other things, so they don't resolve to use violence to deal with their issues. So more mental health professionals in the schools would be a wonderful thing for everybody.
In schools, security that does their job to prevent altercations from happening, and we don't have it. Especially in my area.
Okay. I know I taught in DC public schools for quite a while, and about 20 years ago, we actually had medical chapters. We actually had school guards that were in place. I'm talking about plain clothes. They were stationed on every single floor. And I feel like it's now just becoming this conversation. But I remember 20 years ago when I was in those schools, in the trenches, dealing with that. Do you think that that's something that could also, do you think all schools need to have a metal detector? All schools need to have clear backpacks? This is 20 years ago, and now it's just
This day and age, I hate to say it, this is my personal opinion, but at the end of the day, I still have 2 children in school. At the end of the day, I want my children to come home safe. When I send them out in the morning, I want to feel comfortable that they're in a safe haven. Personally, right now, it's a Ratsville, I don't think my 2 kids are safe.
What do you think can be done, considering you have a huge population that believes in the Second Amendment rights, but at the same time, there is always room for new legislation to be introduced, something that will build on what we have to make it even better. What do you think needs to be in place to help that process along?
This actually is a start. This can't be a finish. We're promoting a lot right here. We have to continue tomorrow and the next thing and the next thing. I think deadlines are important. If something is not filled by a deadline, we need to restart it and do it over again. We just can't do this once again. I'm consistent with the fight. The fight starts in Congress.
A multi-group of meditations, sanghas in the Washington, D.C. area, and people have come from other places also. I belong to the Open Heart at Circle Yoga, and we're doing a mindful walk, which means that we should be walking very slow.
Okay.
And, we wanted to make a statement about peace, love, and, everything.